Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Damodar Radhe Jaya Radha Damodar Radhe Jaya Radha Madhav Radhe Jaya Radha Madhav Radhe Jaya Radha Sham Sundar Radhe Jaya Radha Sham Sundar Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadra Mai Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadra Mai Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Sama Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, and a warm welcome to all the devotees that are joined on Zoom and also here physically. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So today we are starting a little late. Next time we'll try to start. Actually, we should try to start the session at 5:15. So if we are here by 5, then we can start at 5:15. Thanks. So there are some devotees who are here for the first time. Welcome. Yes, Hare Krishna. So Mataji, I've seen you all, but I don't know. Achha. She's? Anjali. Hare Krishna. So she's part of your Gita group?
Yeah.
Huh?
Vishaka
Mataji. Nice. Hare Krishna. Welcome. So you have all finished the Gita now? You have completed the Gita? Chapter 12. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So please repeat after me. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya
Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Gana.
Jaya Jaya Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Gana.
Shakti Deha Kore Yena Chaitanya Varnana.
Shakti Deha Karayena Chaitanya Varnana.
Jaya Jaya Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Gana.
Jaya Jaya Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Gana.
Shakti Deha Kore Yena Chaitanya Varnana.
Shakti Deha Karayena Chaitanya Varnana.
So this is a very beautiful prayer to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Do you know what this means, this shloka?
Yes.
That we are chanting? Jaya Jaya Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Gan.
Shivasadi and the devotees, we are asking the part to
Shakti Deha Kore Yena. So क्या हम कर सके? जब हमें शक्ति मिलेंगी, when we receive the strength by the blessings of Jaya Jaya Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktagana, starting from Srivas Thakur and all the devotees of Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So this is what Kaviraj Goswami he prays in the Caitanya Charitamrita. It's because he has the daunting task of describing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes and the Siddhanta. So he's praying profusely to the devotees that unless they give the strength, then he cannot Korayena Chaitanya Varnan. Right? He cannot explain Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. So this is a very important teaching for us, that we can learn that before we do any seva, whether it is, could be cooking seva, could be deity worship, could be preaching seva, could be book distribution, that before we do the seva, we pray to the Lord. And while we're doing the seva also, we remember the Lord. Especially before and during. That if we pray before, then it sets the mood of that seva. That we are recognizing that on our own we can't do it. Right? And then when we access the mercy of the devotees of the Lord and the Lord Himself, then by their blessings we can perform the seva with the right attitude. So we get empowered to do this seva. In fact, we can't do any meaningful seva unless we have the blessings of the Lord. So the more we feel dependent on the blessings and the strength, then the more power or more effective our seva will become. It is like inverse relationship. The more dependent we feel, what happens? The stronger our seva becomes. The better our seva becomes. The quality of that seva becomes better.
So it's directly proportional हो गया ना प्रभु?
उन्हें वो लगता है ना कि if you have more confidence and you're this and that, like, but in that sense it's inverse. But yes, it's directly proportional, as you said. The more dependent we become, like, yes, the more helpless we feel, then the more anxious we are for the blessings, then we can perform our seva with the right quality.
Where is this verse mentioned?
This is somewhere in the Madhya Lila. I'll find the exact. I'll tell you after the session today. Because it's one of my files, I'll find it. So we are halfway through the second chapter of the Adi Lila. And it's a very interesting chapter. It's entitled Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Usually we are used to saying Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But here in this chapter, the title is Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we've been discussing last 2.5 sessions, these verses. And in this chapter, it begins with the third Mangala Charan, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he makes a bold assertion. And what is that assertion?
Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme
Is
Personality.
not different from Krishna.
Lord Chaitanya is Supreme Personality of Godhead, is not different than Krishna.
Okay, and what else?
He is the
What about
source
him?
of all he is the source of Paramatma and the Brahma effulgence.
And he is the source of the Brahman and he is the source of the Paramatma. This is in verse number 5 of this chapter, which is the third Mangala Charan. This is a very, very significant verse. And in this we discussed in great detail in the purport the meaning of Brahman, the meaning of Paramatma, meaning of Bhagavan. And so we are doing a little quick recap again. So verse number 6, it says, Brahma Atma Bhagavana Anuvadatina
Brahmatma Bhagavana Anuvaditina
Anga Prabha Amsa Swaruptin Vidhayachina. So this was right in the beginning. And he says that impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma and Bhagavan, they are the three subjects. And what are the predicates? The predicates are the glowing effulgence, the partial manifestation, and the original form. So why I'm going through this is because today he is going to use this logic. Right? His whole argument will be based on this logic, that there are three subjects and there are three predicates. Right? And the rule in grammar is that the predicate follows the subject. Just like you say that Gopi was cooking. Right? So cooking is what? Is a predicate. Right? And the predicate is usually a verb. And Gopi is subject, like a noun. So this is how a sentence is constructed. Usually it has a subject and a predicate. And then the whole sentence becomes meaningful. If you just had Gopi, then you're like, what? Okay, what about Gopi? Who is she? What does she do? What is she doing? Or if you just say, was cooking. Right? Cooking? Who's cooking? Host is cooking? Right? Who's cooking? So then the sentence becomes complete when there is a subject and a predicate. And usually in Sanskrit grammar and in English grammar, the predicate follows the subject. You don't say, cooking was Gopi. Gopi is cooking. You don't say, cooking is Gopi.
And within passive sentence, we say like cooking has been done.
Yeah, cooking has been done by Gopi. Right? So, but then what happens is that
The work is already done.
yeah, the work is already done. So he says a predicate always follows its subject. Now I shall explain the meaning of this verse according to the revealed scriptures. And now he explains in Bengali in 8 and 9, right, the essence of this chapter, okay, what he is going to share. So he said, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Vishnu Paratattva
Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Vishnu Tattva
Purna Jnana Purnananda Parama Mahatva.
Purna Jnana Purnananda Parama Mahatva.
This is a very beautiful verse. You should memorize this verse. It says, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. The Krishna is who? He is Swayam Bhagavan. And he is Vishnu Paratattva. Bhagavan means what? Vishnu Paratattva. That means in the category of Vishnu Tattva, he is topmost. Very beautiful. And he is Purna Jnana, he is full of knowledge, he is full of bliss, Purna Ananda. And he is Parama Mahatva. Right? He is a supremely great. He's the greatest of all greatest personalities. Such a beautiful. And then in the next verse, Nanda Sutta Boli Janre Bhagavata Gai.
Nanda Sutta Bali Jaye Bhagavat Gai.
Nanda Suti Bole Jaha. Nanda Sutta Boli Janre Bhagavata Gai.
Nanda Sutta Bali Jaye Bhagavat Gai.
Shri Krishna Avatina Caitanya Gosai.
Shri Krishna Avatina Caitanya Gosai.
So Nanda Sutta, which the Bhagavatam describes, is he has descended on this earth as whom? Lord Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Avatina. So directly he is coming. That Krishna is directly manifesting as Caitanya Gosai, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the proposition of this chapter, right? Prastav. And then what are the three arguments he has to make to support this proposition? Do you remember the three arguments? Now he has to support this claim that he's made. You remember the three arguments he has to make?
Yes, he has to prove that he is the non-different. He is the source of these two.
He is the source of the impersonal
In-person
Brahman,
Brahma and Brahma
Paramatma,
effulgence.
and
Okay, he has to prove, but in order to prove that, what does he have to do?
Bhagavan is greater than Paramatma.
Yes, Bhagavan is the source of
These two.
Paramatma and
of Paramatma and Brahman. Okay, so number one, that's argument number one. Now you have to become transcendental lawyers. Huh?
And he is non-different. He is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself.
Krishna
No,
is-
no, hold on.
Krishna is
Before we,
Krishna is God.
yes,
Krishna is
Krishna is Vishnu
Yeah, this
Paratattva.
was second.
Okay, Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. And then,
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna.
yes, that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. This is the third argument he has to make. Okay. So Bhagavan is the source of Paramatma and Brahman. And then Krishna is Bhagavan, and then Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. They are non-different. Okay? And this is what he does. In the first section that we did, he shared some quotations from the Shastra, some references from the Shastra to demonstrate that. Yeah, so he, if you see in the first one he says is that from the Brahma Samhita, that is the text number 14 in this chapter. Okay? This is the verse from the Brahma Samhita that he quotes to say that the Brahman is actually what? It is the glowing effulgence of Govinda. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagat andakoti koteshu ashesha vasudhadhi vibhuti bhinnam tad brahma nishkalam ananta ashesha bhutam govindam adi purusham tam aham bhajami. And then the next verse he says, text 15, Koti koti brahmande je brahmera vibhuti
Koti Koti Brahmande Brahmande Vibhuti.
Sei brahma govinder hoy anga kanti.
Sei Brahma Govinde Anga Kanti.
The opulences of the impersonal Brahman spread throughout the millions and millions of universes. That Brahman is but the bodily effulgence of Govinda. That was the first part of argument number one. And the second part of argument number one is that he is the source of the Paramatma. And this is in text number 20. He quotes the verse from the Bhagavad Gita, Ekam Sena Sthito Jagat. Krishna says himself, what more can I say to you? I live throughout this cosmic manifestation merely by my single plenary portion. And then Prabhupada says that this verse is from 1042. And then he quotes another verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam where Bhishma Dev, where he's just about to depart. He's on the bed of arrows and he is looking at the Pandavas. Krishna is there and he speaks this beautiful verse from this heart. He says, as the sun appears differently situated to different spheres, so also do you, the unborn, appearing differently, represented as the Paramatma in every living being. So he's boldly claiming Krishna to be the Paramatma in every living being. He says, thus I am now able to comprehend your eternal forms, knowing well the Paramatma to be your only plenary portion. So Bhishma Dev is saying that now I am able to understand that this Paramatma is who? Is your plenary portion. It means your partial expansion. And then after discussing these verses, he says, Shaite Govinda Sakshat Caitanya Gosai.
Shaite Govinda Sakshat Caitanya Gosai.
Jiva Nishtarite Aishe Dayalu Harunai.
Jiva Nishtarite Dayalu Harunai.
So this is also another verse that we should memorize. A very beautiful verse. Because now he's referring back to all these verses where Govinda is referred to, right? And he's saying, Shaite Govinda. In those last 3 verses. And he's saying that same Govinda, who is the source of the Brahman, and who is the source of the Paramatma. Shaite Govinda Sakshat Caitanya Gosai. He's directly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And why has he come in that form? To deliver the conditioned souls. Jiva Nishtarite Aishe Dayalu Arunai. There's no one more merciful than him. And in this purport, Srila Prabhupada shares many verses from many different scriptures that foretell the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and also his divinity. That how he is the Lord himself. And very beautiful verses from the Upanishads, the Puranas, the Mahabharata and other scriptures. Okay. And then he goes to the next section. Now that he's established that that Bhagavan is the source of Bhagavan is the source of Paramatma and Brahman. Okay. Now he is going to dispel any doubts that Krishna is the Vishnu Paratattva. That Krishna, in the category of Vishnu Tattva, he is supreme. And he begins by saying that there is no difference between Narayan and Krishna. Narayan has 4 hands, Krishna has 2 hands. They're both transcendental. And this is what the scriptures tell us. And the Lord is perceived in different ways. Those who walk the paths of knowledge, in verse number 26, it says, Jnana yoge marge tanre bhaje shaishaba brahma atma rupe tanre kore anubhava. So those who walk the paths of knowledge and yoga, they worship the Lord and they perceive him as the impersonal Brahman and as the localized Paramatma. But the devotees, how do they understand? How do they understand the Lord? They understand the Lord through their service. And devotees, they understand the glories of the Lord as the supreme personality of Godhead. So different worshippers, they perceive the Lord in different ways. And then he quotes in 30, which is like, this whole chapter is based on this verse, where this is a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, 14th verse. And this is Lord Brahmaji. He's speaking. And this verse is spoken after, yes, after the Lila in which Brahma tries to steal. He steals the calves and the cowherd boys, and he thinks he can separate them from Krishna. And in doing so, he gets really bewildered, because when he comes back to see, he sees that the calves and the cowherd boys are intact. And then he realizes that who this little cowherd boy is, what is his power, right? That he manifested himself in all these forms. Right? And Brahma thought like he could make a fool out of Krishna, right? and hide the calves and the cowherd boys. But in return he got bewildered. And then once he got bewildered, then he begs the Lord for mercy, and he makes these beautiful prayers in the 14th chapter of the 10th canto, which I spoke about last time a little bit. That so what he does is that Kaviraj Goswami, he uses this Lila to establish the supremacy of Krishna in the Vishnu Tattva. And it's based on this verse. He's telling Krishna, he says, "O Lord of the Lords, you are the seer of all creation." He's telling Krishna this. "You are indeed everyone's dearest life. Are you not therefore my father Narayan?" Narayan refers to one whose abode is in the water born of Nara, Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And that Narayan is your plenary portion. All your plenary portions are transcendental. They are absolute and not creations of Maya. So he's telling that this Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from whose navel I have appeared, who is he? Okay, he is. But who is he ultimately? Who is his father?
Brahmaji's father.
Who is his father? Yes. So he says, you are the ultimate Narayan. So this Narayan, Nara, whose abode is in the water, and he's lying down, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, but he's not the ultimate Narayan. He says, you are the ultimate Narayan, so aren't you really my father? Okay. So we are clear up till here? Huh? And then based on this verse, he gives three proofs of this, or he asserts, he says why you are the ultimate Narayan. So first of all, he begs forgiveness to Krishna. And he says, look, I'm your son, and so as a father, if I made a mistake, then you should easily forgive me. Because what? Like, children make mistakes. So he says, in 33, he says, Pita mata balakera naloy aparadha.
Pita mata balakera naloy aparadha.
Aparadha shama more karo prasada.
Aparadha shama more karo prasada.
So parents never take seriously the offences of their children. I therefore beg your pardon and ask for your benediction. And then Krishna makes a beautiful reply. He says, Krishna kahena Brahma tomar pita Narayana.
Krishna kahena Brahma tomar pita Narayana.
Ami gopa tumi kaise amar nandana.
Ami gopa tumi kaise amar nandana.
Now Krishna, like an innocent boy, he says, hey, come on. Your father's Narayan. I'm just a coward boy. How can you be my son? You are Brahma. I'm a little coward boy. And your father's Narayan. And then Brahma says, are you not Narayan? You are certainly Narayan. And he says, Suno tahara karan. Listen to the reasons why you are Narayan. So he gives 3 reasons why he is Narayan. So the first reason is that
All the living beings are born from him.
yes, he is the source of all living beings. He is the Atma. He is the source of all. In verse number 38, if you see, Nara Shabd Kahe Sarva Jivera Nichaya.
Nara Shabd Kahe Sarva Jivera Nishaya.
Aina Shabd Kahe Tanhara Ashaya.
I am Shakti Tahara Ashraya.
The word Nara refers to the aggregate of all living beings, and the word Ayan refers to the refuge of them all. And therefore you are the original Narayan, because you are the source of everything and you are the shelter of everything. So you are the source and the shelter. And the second reason is that
His opulence is more than the Purusha avatars.
okay, his opulence is, now you have to be more specific. Which opulence?
Because Purusha avatar are the direct lords of the living entities,
Yes,
and he is the lord of his Purusha.
yes. So he is a protector of the protector of all the living entities. So the Purusha avatar are the protectors of all the living entities, but they are protected by whom? Yeah. So they come ultimately from the Supreme Lord. Right? They come from his Amsa. Right? So he says, since you protect, Narare Rayan Jote Koro Palana 42. Atova hao tumi mula Narayana. Since you protect those who are the shelter of all living beings, you are the original Narayan. And the third reason,
He knows
what is the third reason?
he knows the past, present, future of all the living beings. He oversees the wanderings of all living entities.
Yes, he oversees the past and present. If you look at verse number 44, it says, Ite joto jiva tara traik kalika karma taha dekha saksha tumi jana shaba marma. Both in this material world and in the transcendental world, you see all the deeds of all living beings in the past, present and future. Since you are the witness of all such deeds, you know the essence of everything. Jano Shava Marma. That means you know the essence of everything. And that's why you are the Mool Narayan. Okay. And the last thing that he tells is that the position of Krishna is very special. So last time we discussed the word Turiya, and that the fourth dimension. So this has nothing to do with the physical dimensions. Yes, so last time some of you were saying there is 9 dimensions, 12 dimensions. So this has nothing to do with the physical dimensions. This word has to do, it has few meanings. One is that the simple meaning is fourth. Turiya means fourth. And the second meaning is that Turiya is a state of consciousness beyond the material modes of nature. So it's transcendental consciousness, Turiya. Now, when he says that you are Turiya, does it mean that the Purusha avatars, they are conditioned?
No.
They are also Turiya. So we shouldn't forget that. They are also in above the modes of material nature. In fact, the material energy is working under their direction. So what is it that makes Krishna, why does he use this word, Turiya?
Because the three Purushas are working in association with the Maya. Although they are not affected by Maya, but they are working with Maya Devi. But Lord is above all. He is not in association with Maya.
Yes. So Krishna himself, he doesn't get involved with the material energy at all. In fact, it is said that he never leaves Goloka. But through his expansions, like his first expansion, Lord Balaram, through him, the first Chaturvyuha, then Lord Narayan, then the second Chaturvyuha, then the Purusha avatars. So through his expansions and the expansions of his expansions, basically the material world is taken care of. Krishna doesn't get involved with the material energy at all. In fact, even when he leaves to go to Dwarka, and he doesn't leave to go to Dwarka, it's his expansion, Vasudev Krishna. So his original Swayam Krishna, Swayam Roop Krishna, he never leaves Vrindavan. He is eternally enjoying. He is the supreme personality of enjoyer Godhead. Now that may seem that, God, like he doesn't care, right? But he does care. That's why he expands himself into Lord Balaram. There's no difference between Lord Balaram and him, except their color and their mood. But Lord Balaram is the supreme personality of servitor Godhead. So Krishna is both the servant and the enjoyer. This is the genius of the Supreme Lord. Yes.
Prabhuji, jo Bhagavad Gita wano ye, to he is the Swayam Bhagwan, or he is also like some expansion Vasudeva Krishna?
No, he is Swayam Bhagavan. He comes once in a day of Brahma. He personally comes, and to demonstrate his beautiful Lila in this material world and give us access to these pastimes. So he comes, but he comes in his transcendental form. Like you don't see Krishna as an old person. When he was 125, when he left his body, and he was still like youthful. So he comes in his transcendental form. Okay, so there is another explanation given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and this is in one of the purports in the Bhagavatam. I'll give you the exact purport. It's in 11th canto, and there Turiya is explained as we were reading in these purports. Mahavishnu is the expansion of whom? Which Chaturvyuha?
Second Chaturvyuha, Narayan.
Sankarshan. Okay. Sankarshan. So if you see the purport to text number 56, Prabhupada writes in this purport that the first Purusha avatar, Mahavishnu, in the causal ocean, who is the creator of the aggregate material energy, is an expansion of Sankarshan. And the second Purusha, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, is an expansion of Pradyumna. And the third Purusha, Shiradakshayi Vishnu, is an expansion of Aniruddha. So the fourth is who? Who's the fourth? Vasudeva. Yes. So Turiya refers to Vasudeva. So this is another meaning of the word Turiya. Okay.
Does that mean that these three, other than Vasudeva Krishna, are some way or the other connected with the material energy?
Yeah, they are not connected. The Purusha avatars are connected. Their expansions are connected. Yes.
But Vasudeva is not at all connected.
So this is this is mentioned in one of the purports in this explanation is given in the 11th canto. I'll give you the exact verse after this. So I hope that clears your doubt about the word Turiya.
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yes.
Like these expansion, these Purusha avatars, they take care of everything in the material world, right? So even the birth and the death of living beings. So now Brahmaji were earlier so very confused, confused in the sense that he was considering Krishna as simply a cowherd boy.
Yes.
But after that he realized that he is Krishna. But what made him to think that he is Krishna, and why didn't he think that he must be the Purusha avatar, any of the Purusha avatars?
Why he didn't think he saw him as the source of all the Purusha avatars. So he saw him even greater than the Purusha avatars. So although he came out of the Garbhodakshai Vishnu's navel, he realized that that there is someone even beyond Garbhodakshai Vishnu.
Yeah, so my question is, like, even the Purusha avatar has that power to maybe generate those sakhas and those calves again, right? Even though Lord Brahma took them away, right? But still the Purusha avatar can also do.
But in that Lila, Krishna is there himself.
I understand, but how Brahmaji came to know then that he is Krishna only and not any of the Purusha avatars? Because even the Purusha avatar can do the same thing.
No, so he saw him because he's personally present as Krishna in the form of the cowherd
he
boy.
was so very confused. Then what? Just because of this activity, this Lila.
Yeah, that brought him back to his senses.
Okay.
He realized that actually what the power of this little boy is. He thought, okay, let me just try it out. Like, he's a little boy, let's see if what happens. Let me try and bewilder him. But then he realized that this boy Krishna, he's so powerful. And he's so powerful that he's even the source of all the Purusha avatars, the protectors of all the jivas in this material world. So it's not that he doesn't recognize the power of the Purusha avatars. He recognizes. But he says that you are the Mool Narayan. You're even greater, you're even the source of these Purusha avatars. So Purusha avatars are powerful, but you're supremely powerful.
So even the Purusha avatar, if they want, they can also do the same thing that Krishna did, right?
Yeah, but Purusha avatars, they have a different role, they have a different function. They're not involved in the Lila and playing as a little child, and they're Mahavishnu from him, all these universes are coming. Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the soul of the whole individual universe. So they have a different function. These pastimes that Krishna performs, these are very unique to him.
Sure.
Prabhuji, only because of this reason you are saying that the Purusha avatars are protectors of a living entity?
Which reason? No?
Like they are the soul of the universe or soul of the Brahman.
Yeah, yes, and they are the Paramatma. So they are protecting us, right?
Okay.
They are protecting us.
So like by sitting in our body and then by controlling this universe and then by producing unlimited universes.
Yes.
In 3 ways.
If they are not there, then if they are not generating that, then where would we come? If Garbhodakshai Vishnu doesn't give birth to Lord Brahma, then from Brahma, all the jivas are created. So then, how will it happen?
Can
Yes.
we understand this way that when Lord Brahma was bewildered, and after that when he understood that he did a big mistake, then because Paramatma is already present in Brahma, so Lord Krishna inspired Brahmaji through Paramatma that I am the Supreme Personality of God.
Definitely. Otherwise, how could he make these prayers? Could he make these, express such deep realizations about the Supreme Personality of Godhead without being inspired by the Paramatma? Not possible. Okay. So one thing I want to ask you is that, are you all getting lost or following, or is it too complicated? This chapter is a little technical, but just hang in there. We have only a few more verses, and the next two chapters are very, very sweet. This chapter is dealing with the greatness of the Lord. So it is a little technical. There are a lot of references. There's a lot of reasoning, logic, but this is really beautiful logic. It helps us really appreciate the position of Lord Krishna. This chapter, that what is the position of Bhagavan, and why Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not some sentimental statement, but it is a statement made by the greatest of authorities and shared in the greatest of scriptures. So he's giving all references, just like a transcendental lawyer, why Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now we're going to, we still have very strong, two powerful, more reasons that he's going to share. I wanted to share one at least today. So you all up for it, or
Yes, Prabhuji.
huh?
Yes, Prabhuji.